Are you worth what you charge? For example, are you worth the 2.5%, 3% of a buyer's agency fee paid directly by the buyer at closing? Over the next few minutes, what I'm going to explain in this video are a couple different ways and a couple different things you can implement within your practice that'll justify your commission and, more importantly, have buyers and clients wanting to pay it.
Shut up and take my money.
My name is Mike Cuevas with Referral Sweet, and we help people become more referable and run eventually an attraction-based business. And what we're chatting about on this week's video is something that the whole industry is experiencing right now. If you have been hiding under a rock, the industry just got a right hook followed by a left jab to the face when it comes to buyer agency commissions. And as of going forward, buyer agency commissions can no longer be advertised on the MLS. And depending on what MLS you're in, as far as I understand it today, you have to actually be paid directly by the buyer, or those commissions must be done outright before you can actually show properties for sale. So what is this going to actually do to your business? Now, here's the main difference is that when you meet with a buyer for buyer's presentation, whether or not you were getting buyer's agency agreements ahead of time, now not only do you have to have a buyer agency agreement in place, but during that buyer agency agreement, you have to look someone in the eye and say, look, I'm going to charge you 2.5% to buy your next house. And the seller might pay me, but in the event they don't, you're gonna pay me the difference. Comprende?
Give me your money!
Now, depending on what the purchase price is that buyer is looking for, let's just say if the purchase price is $500,000, you're charging 2.5%, you're asking that buyer to pay an additional $12,500 in closing costs payable to you. Now, this is in addition to their down payment, in addition to everything else, it's an additional closing cost to them now at the closing. And what I believe is going to happen is that most people are gonna be like, what do you mean? I'm not paying you that amount of money. I just wanna go see some houses. Why am I gonna be paying you tens of thousands of dollars? And folks, it gets worse. Think about the buyer's agents who are working in the $1 to $2 million properties. Now you're asking for literally $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 out of pocket at closing. Now, the only way buyers are going to be willing to pay this is if the fee you're charging is justified, and that's what we want to share about on this video. People generally don't care what someone charges, they care that the charge was justified. So here are a couple different things you can start doing within your business to make your value to your buyers. Number one, have options. There's nothing wrong with having two different types of buyer agency agreements. Maybe one counts as this service and the other will justify this service. So for example, if somebody wants you to take them out and go see properties for sale, well, maybe that's a 2.5% charge. Now, on the other hand, let's just say that you're not the one responsible for showing them properties, and maybe they just need you to facilitate the transaction, negotiate the transaction after they actually find the next property they're willing to purchase. Well, if that were the case, then maybe you could take a limited commission than a full commission when you're actually out there showing properties, and who knows how long that'll take. Now, another way you can do this is just charge less, but make it up on the back end. Let me explain. Now, there's a lot of different ancillary services that you can partner with right now. And without getting into the weeds of it, let me just give you another example. One example would be to get paid legally through mortgage. Now, this can be a whole nother video, but there are several different mortgage companies right now that are willing to partner with real estate agents legally, and trust me, there's a right way to get this done, where they can actually, or you can actually be paid anywhere between 0.5 basis points or 0.75, which is 0.5 or 0.75% of the loan amount. Now, this extra referral fee essentially can be used to make up the difference in payment that you were normally used to getting. So for example, let's do the math. Let's say the next buyer agency agreement, you only end up walking away with 1.5% because the numbers just couldn't work. Well, if you're used to making 2.5%, well, where are you gonna make up the other 1%? Well, this is one of those areas. Now, if you're doing this and you had a mortgage partnership, well, you'd make up that other basis simply by providing the financing. And what's the difference on how you get paid as long as you get to the 2.5%? Now, another way you can do this is start doing things more creatively. You got to remember, when someone is buying and selling a house at the same time, they're not only selling the house you're listing, but they're most likely buying another one. You could create a package or a service within your offering that'll say, hey, this is our list and buy program. And what you can do is pre-negotiate your buyer service on the list side. Those are three simple ideas that you can start differentiating your offer so that you stand out. Because the one thing that is absolutely crucial in this real estate market upcoming is going to be you must justify your value as a buyer's agent. Without it, people are going to balk at what you're charging, and more importantly, they're not going to be willing to pay the amount if they don't think you're bringing in value. This is going to involve you sharpening your skill set, knowing different terms, and knowing how to source and find properties that the average person can't find. If you have any additional questions about these particular topics, check out the rest of the content on our website or our channel. And thanks for watching this video. We'll see you for next week's.